Welcome to LeonCo and welcome to this year LeonCo season. We are very excited. We want to share with you guys lots of information about investing. And the first thing that we wanted to share with you guys about how we invest here in LeonCo is a document that I created, an Excel document that I created that helps us keep track of our investing, how we do our investing, and what we are investing, and so on and so forth. This is the document that we used for investments in 2020. So you'd see all the things that we invested throughout the year 2020, the goals that we had, how we started the year, and how we finished the year, and how we moved throughout everything throughout the 2020s. So the first thing that we want to discuss with you guys is we wanted to share with you guys how we are, or how we were when the year 2020 started. You see in this first window that this is the summary for the year 2019. How much we were in the stock market, how was our portfolio by then, the companies that we had invested in the year 2019, the amount that we invested in 2019, not just in the stock market, but you can see also here in this corner that we also have some investments in Bitcoin. So for the year at the start of 2019, we invested in Disney. We had 19 shares of Disney. We invested in an ETF, an Invesco S&P 500 with the ticker SPHD. We had 6 shares of that. We invested in General Electric. We had 30 shares. We invested in Novavax. We had 6 shares. We invested in Edge Therapeutics. We had 0 shares because we sold all those shares for the year 2019. And we also invested in General Motors when we had 1 share. So this is our summary for the year 2019. You'd see that it's going to have a big changes for the year 2020. So we want to share with you guys. So following this summary, you can see now that we are sharing with you guys the goals for the year 2020. You see the companies that we wanted to invest in, what we had at the start of the year, the goals that we wanted to reach for the end of year 2020, and what we finished on the end of year and the date that we completed. Something very important, that we wanted to finish the year 2020 with a positive trend. And what we mean by a positive trend is that we wanted to finish the year 2020 having a positive return in our investments, to be in the green. That is very important for us. And you can see also that we wanted to exceed our position in Bitcoin for the year 2020. So the goal for each stock was to have 40 shares of Disney. We wanted to have 30 shares of the ETF SPHD. We wanted to have 60 shares for General Electric, 20 shares for Novavax, 5 shares for General Motors. And here are 2 new companies that you did not see in the 2019 summary, and that is another ETF, that is a global super dividend ETF, the ticker SDIV, and CRISP Therapeutics with the ticker CRSP. So those were our goals for the year 2020. And you can see that the date completed, that we finished most of our investments for the year 2020 in or around mid 2020. So you see also that when Novavax, we sold all of our shares of Novavax, so we don't have that company further on throughout the year in our portfolio, and that we both finish our goals for investing in the stock market, and so also for Bitcoin. Also, we wanted to share with you guys, this is one of our ledgers that we use to keep track on our Bitcoin investment. It's very simple. It's the date that we bought, the amount that we bought, and the fragmental part that we had on Bitcoin. So this is very simple, very straightforward when it comes to Bitcoin. So the next tab is our investment. This is a more rough ledger, because this is all of the investments that we did on the year 2020 with the date that we did, the company that we invested in, the amount of money that we invested in that company, and the last column is the amount of stocks that we bought, and we have these two particular columns that we have in the center, and that is total value and the stock share. What do we mean by this? Well, every time we invest in a stock, we wait till the end of the year, of the day, the trading day, and we see if we had gains on our investment or we have losses on our investment. So if we have gains or losses, we would put it here on the stock share. If it's a positive, we would put the amount that we gained, and if it's a negative, we would put the amount that we lost. And then we will have a total value, which would be what we call the realistic value of our investment. We would be the sum of the amount that we invested with the added value or the subtracted value, and that would give us the total real investment value that we did for that particular stock or that particular day. So this is more how we keep track. We have specific needs that we use for this type of ledger. So it's a very rough ledger that we use to keep track on everything that we do on our investments. Next, we want to share with you guys a similar ledger with the names of the stocks, but this is particularly for dividends. We use this ledger to keep track of the amount of dividends that we receive from company and the date. If you could see, this is the company that provide us dividends. This is the amount of stock that we use. For example, in this first line, we see that Invesco SPHD, we had 6 amount of the stocks, giving us 15 cents per stock, so a total of 93 cents, and this was given to us on December 31, 2019. So this is how we keep track of our dividends. We also have another Excel document that we have automized that gives us a summary of all the investments that we made and the dividends that we received that we will later on share with you guys. Very important. That keeps us track and keeps us focused on how much dividends we've received, both monthly and yearly. So this is a rough summary of all these dividends that we received throughout the year. And finally, we share with you guys our summary for the 2020 investments and what we have. So this is very important because if you noticed, our 2019 summary, it was very small. It didn't have lots of information. And for this summary for the 2020, it's a lot more complete, you can say. We have a bigger portfolio. We invested in different companies, and we also sold some shares of our company, and we left those companies on the side because we sold all those shares, so we left our position in those companies in the stock market. So if you see, we sold our Novavax that we talked about earlier, that we sold our shares on Novavax. We also sold our position in Chris Therapeutics, and we sold our positions on a company called Sandwich Premium Trust with the ticker PER. This was more of an experimental investment that we did. They worked on the oil sector, so we hold them for a little bit. We invested $100 roughly, and we got $136 in return. So it's not a bad investment for just an experimental thing that we wanted to do throughout the 2020. So this is all of our companies that we have in our portfolio at the end date of December 31st, 2020. So this is the companies that we have on our portfolio starting the year 2021. So we have Disney with 49 shares. We have the ETF SPHD with 60 shares. We have General Electric with 120 shares. We sold our position in Novavax. We have 20 shares of General Motors. We have 30 shares of Global Waters, 20 shares of Shell Communications. We sold our position on CRISP Therapeutics. We have 26 shares of an ETF Master Income. We sold our shares on Sandwich Premium, like we talked earlier, and we have 25 shares of Virgin Galactic Holdings, 80 shares of the Global Super Dividend ETFs, and 5 shares of Tesla stock. So if you see later on throughout these, you see that we have our investments for 2018 and 2019, and you can see the bump in investments that we did for the year 2020. Basically, we just tenfolded the investment that we did on our previous 2 years. and we have the total investment that we made throughout these 3 years, the total value, and the percentage of return for the year 2020 as year to date from all of our investments. So we have a total value of $23,000, 623 with 80 cents, and a 43% of return. So we met our expectations for the year 2020 to finish off with a positive trend. We have a 43% return on all our investments, which is great for our first 3 years of investing. And finally, we have the value for some of our Bitcoins that we invested on 2019, 2020, and the Bitcoin actual value, which has changed. As you notice, that Bitcoin has been skyrocketing. So we wanted to share with you guys this because we find it's very important for you to have a vision, a clear vision of your goals, of the things that your investment throughout the years. And this is a tool that we use daily with our investment. It helps us a lot keeping track on what we're doing, on when we want to go. And if you are thinking of starting investing, or you already are investing and you don't have something like this, we greatly encourage you to start doing this. There are platforms that you can pay, and they have everything automatic for you, that you can link your portfolio with that program, and they will give you everything. But we don't necessarily like the idea of paying for something that we can do ourselves. So we are doing it ourselves. We find the information that we need, and this is very helpful for us to keep track of what we want to do and where we want to be. So I highly encourage you guys to start doing this. If you're investing, try to do something similar. You can add information, subtract information, be more specific, or be very general, whatever works for you, but start to keep track on what you're doing and what you're investing in. And finally, if you are not into investing and you want to start investing, this is a great way for you to keep yourself motivated, because you will always be able to see where you are, where you're going, and where you've been. And that is very important. Sometimes when we're investing, we get very frustrated on not knowing how we're doing, but having the opportunity to look at where you've been and where you're going, it's something very great, will keep you very motivated. So I hope you guys like this video. It's something very different from what we're used to doing here on our channel, but we think that this is very helpful and will be great for you guys. So I hope you guys are staying safe, staying healthy, and always remember to have that king mentality.